Since there are a few new people on board, some people who haven't really looked at perhaps where we have been or where we are now, that we would quickly go over the report that was sent to the state. Now, I'm basically going to pick out what I think are the highlights that are detailed in here and have to answer questions. So I really would like to just focus in on the highlights so you get a flavor for where we are. The first is on page 3. Everybody got one? At the end of the year, on page 3, we ended up with $1.4 million in cash. That was what we had left over in the bank. So that's been an improvement over where we were in the past. Page 4 tells the tale of that. Basically, we have part of it is reserved. 164,000, which is in certain reserves, and we appropriated 381,000. Okay, stop when you can.
Where are you getting these numbers?
Okay, the third or fourth number down.
On page 4?
On page 4. Miscellaneous reserve is 164,000. And the number below that, the fund balance, is 381. So we used some of what was left over. So we have basically an unreserved fund balance, which basically means we haven't appropriated it for anything, of over 900,000. I remind you, though, that the police, whatever the back pay is included in that number. Now, what I normally like to see in a small village or small town is that our unreserved fund balance it approximates at least 10% of our budget, so hopefully if something comes up, we're not strangled and we have to increase taxes drastically. Now, skipping...
I'm sorry, we're usually at 10% with that 900 then, right?
Yeah, except that the police settlement whatever that is included in here.
We'll be talking about that. Yeah, that's only 1.2 million. No, we'll be talking about that actually. It's not going to hurt us.
Page 10 is a summary of where we were and where we are now. 2 years ago, on the top left-hand corner, we had about 127,000 in our fund balance. At the end of last year, the year before last, we were at 672, and now we're at $1.5 million. Now, granted, some of that is reserved, but at least you can see that there's been progress over the last couple of years to put us back into a viable position in the general fund. Skipping over to the that should be water, and that is on page 18. Now in the water we have about 579,000, that's what we ended up last year. Receivables are always a large number, 375. It's the billing that goes out. We're keeping consistent in the accounting, so you can see that there wasn't much difference between the previous year and this year. Whether we really have 375 or it's an accounting thing is questionable, but it's the way the accounts receivable have been done in the past. So if they're billed, it becomes a receivable, even though we know it's always going to be paid in June or July.
So does it really tell us how much is outstanding?
Yes, because that was the last billing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's whatever date this is.
May 31st.
So yeah, this is a timing issue kind of thing.
Except that the previous year was 373, so it's pretty much non-issue. On page 19, of that fund balance, 121 is for bonded indebtedness. In other words, we're collecting taxes and stuff that goes in there. We have 107 for miscellaneous reserves, and then the appropriation of 99 to balance the budget. So our unreserved is 618. So still strong, but if you will notice, it's less than we had the previous year.
Yeah.
Now, if we take a look at page 22, we can see where we were 2 years ago. We had a fund balance of 413. Then the year after, we went to 730, and now we're at 947. You can also see that the revenues were $1,005,000 on that same page on the right-hand side, and the expenditures were $1,003,000. So in effect, we're getting to the point where we're now not, I don't want to say showing a profit, but at least we're not in deficit spending. And that will help us pay off some of the short-term bonds rather rapidly, I hope. And that takes care of Next is sewer on page 25. The total cash is $182, a little less than a year ago. Page 26, we have of the reserve on fund balance for debtedness of 125, unreserved appropriated in order to balance the budget of 183, and unappropriated 600,000, which is also a decrease from last year. Now if we go to page 29, you can see over a 3-year period that the beginning we had a fund balance of 961, and now it's down to 920. So the sewer has been we're not growing in the sewer as far as being positive. And if you look at the two numbers on the right-hand side, we had revenue of $2,003,000, expenditures of $2,004,000. So in effect, it lost almost $100,000 in cash flow in the sewer last year. So
does that have the town's bill?
Yes. So you can see that is something that we have to concentrate a little bit more on. Now the rest of all of this report is a bunch of junk. Bunch of numbers, which for different funds and all that stuff. But I wanted to point out the important stuff, at least I thought. And then I want to go over, which is not part of your packet, because for some reason it wasn't copied in my office. So we copied them tonight, and this is indebtedness. This summarizes each one of the different BANs we have. The first one is the water one. We had the beginning of the year ending, this is the year ending May of 09. We started with 145, we paid off 29. We have 116, which is due to be paid on the 10th of March, if I have my dates right, which means that we're going to be paying it through this budget year. The second one is again water. That's 375, and that's technically that's a BAN, which is going to totally be paid in 09, and I'm not sure if we're actually going to pay that or expand it out. Then we have one for 145, which this gives you the summation of the two bonds and shows you that our outstanding is $491 in the water. Now, our goal is to pay these as quick as possible using BAN and get these off the books. The second set is the major bonds. The first one started at $16,795,000. It's now at $16,400,000. As you can see, we paid $395,000 on that, and that is due in 2037. The other bond is for improvements. It's $3,004,000. We paid $125,000. Again, that's due in 26. And the third one is 12 million. We paid 309 last year. We have 11 million left over, and that totals the balance of those three bonds